Peace. We're going to do a quick reading for the earth signs for the month of April. Pretty much it's timeless, whenever you come across it. But as we're moving into the spring months, so Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, I'm going to use my crystal oracle deck, and then we'll do a casting. I'm going to work on keeping my readings somewhat short for this channel, so we'll see. If you like longer readings, I'll have those on my other channel, The Compassionate Oracle. All right, Spirit. What messages do you have for the earth signs, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, as we head into the spring months? Let me get a little incense, guys. I wanted to hop on here so quick. I'm not really where I need to be. So let me set the stage here. Do a quick cleansing before we start. I hope you're doing well. Right. Sending some your way as well. Okay. Do a quick cleansing of your hands. My third eye and crown. All right, now we're ready. Thank you, Spirit. All right, what messages do you have for the earth signs, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, as we're heading into a season of renewal, planting seeds, opening up new doors, moving in new directions, seeing the fruits of our labor. All right, so let's see. What messages do you have for us to aid in our healing? So, stability, transformation, peace, willpower, self-sufficiency, insecurity. Let's get 3 Lenormand cards. All right, so the first one that flew out here is the whip. So going through difficult times, all right, dealing with difficult people, being in situations that are repetitive, all right, trying to come out of that with this transformation energy. All right. Let's see what we have here. Put them right on the bottom. All right. And then worries from the past, okay? Could have been financial. Pretty much the same energy as that whip. Not the same. The mouse, they have different tones, but the idea of things nagging, worries, being depleted, all right? And so we want to work on that as we're heading into the spring months. Let's look at our Lenormand row here. On the bottom, we have the heart, the bear, and the book. This is a beautiful line here because it's just showing that, you know, if we're utilizing our heart, we're going in the direction that we love, we're focusing on our foundations, all right, it means that beautiful things are opening up to us with this book, that we're ready for them. We're ready for something new with this. But let's take a quick look here. So we have the self-sufficiency right here in the middle. Spirit is saying that this is where we are, this is what we should be focused on for this month and moving forward, is finding that spiritual self-sufficiency first and foremost, but also getting into a position where, you know, your finances are looking good, or you're on the path to where they're looking good, or where they can be looking good. This is where I'm at right now. So going ahead and putting those things in place, those foundations in place, and working towards them. It could have been things in the past, and I'm getting financially here because we saw the mouse earlier. So willpower when it comes to your spending habits. And this is actually for me as well as I'm listening to this message. I have a Virgo rising, and so these are some of the things that I'm working on as well. But willpower when it comes to spending at this time, making sure that we're putting things away. The bear deals with saving and putting things away for being able to go through periods of rest, being able to go through periods of recovery, and saving up and not moving those things here and there, right? So we're saving our income, we're saving as much as we can. Spirit is saying that this requires willpower, right? Because we're moving towards self-sufficiency and stability. Um, the whole thing here is this is the way to move into a transformation. Once we get into this transformation, it's going to bring about peace with the blue calcite. This reading is all about planting seeds for firm foundation because we have security out here as well. All right. Let's see what we have here. So let's move this one over here. Security. All right. So willpower. On this, we have a piece of citrine. And this is amethyst, actually, that's been baked to mimic citrine. Citrine is a natural stone, natural yellow stone. It's normally lighter in color. When you come across citrine that's this color, it's normally amethyst that's been baked. But I still love the energy of it as well. It still gives me abundance energy. It still deals with money. It still deals with solar plexus for me as well. And so I still carry the energy as the same. But this is also something hiding in plain sight or something that might not be what it seems, right? And so we want to make sure that we're thinking about things when we're dealing with people and we're dealing with environments as well. But Spirit is saying abundance is here on what? Willpower. So making sure that we are not brash when making decisions, making sure that we're holding strong to our ideas and how we want to move forward with our foundation, that we're planting those correct seeds, right? Having willpower, believing in ourselves, being strong in who we are, standing firm on the ground, all that comes along with this energy. But this reading has got money vibes to it because I see the colors here. It looks like money, right? So we want to make sure that we have willpower when it comes to our financial spending and that we're making sure that we're saving and putting things away for emergencies or just for growth as we're moving forward. That's going to bring us lots of abundance here. Finances will improve, They will improve tremendously when we focus on what's important, when we focus on putting those things away and making sure that we're caring for ourselves by putting things away. We have the smoky quartz, but Tibetan quartz here. Anytime we're dealing with quartz, we're dealing with purifying, amplification, programming. And so programming here is important when it comes to our finances, making sure we know where every bit of our money is going. And so if this is not financial for you, you place it where it belongs, okay? You place it where it belongs for you in your life, all right? This message can be for anything. Anything that requires you to hold on to resources. Holding on to resources can be yourself, not giving yourself to so many people, not overspending emotionally, draining yourself like that as well. Because a mouse also deals with being emotionally drained. So it can be being drained in many different ways, moving towards transformation, moving towards stability in many different ways, right? But because I see stability, self-sufficiency, and security out here, it makes me think about those foundations. So programming yourself to honor the future you by honoring yourself now and doing what's right, but also not necessarily being able to see the outcome and see all the beautiful things that are going to happen with this abundance through the willpower and through exercising restraint, right? Spirit is saying that good things are ahead here. Self-sufficiency, making sure that we are allowing our spirit guides and our spirit team to know what we envision for ourselves going forward. We have the angel here, but this also talks about the root chakra here. This is just a piece of red jasper. So working with our spirit team, working with our angels, giving thanks for what we have at this moment, right? But also the root chakra is the foundational energy, working on planting your feet solidly on the ground, building that foundation brick by brick, brick by brick, right? And so taking time, making sure that we're doing that in the correct way. On this, we have money. So we got the dime here. Small gains coming in, all right? But these small gains will eventually turn into something that's powerful, something that's bigger with the willpower, right? With the focus on stability. Being at peace with what we already have with the blue calcite. But we have, the penny 1 cent. So, give yourself some time. 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, making those small changes. Tomorrow, I'm going to do this. Next week, I'm going to do this. Next month, I'm going to do this. That's the energy that I get with this penny. Putting away a small amount. It doesn't have to be a lot, but putting away just a little bit for your foundation. For some of you all, you want to start a business. You want to grow in that way. And so you need that capital in order to start that business. So right now saying, whatever I have that's left over, what can it be? $5, $1, whatever it is. The bear takes and stores whatever it can find for its nourishment later on. All right, to help to sustain the body through periods of rest. So we want to make sure that whatever we have left over, little bits and pieces, whatever it might be, that we're honoring that, okay, and that we're putting that away. Give yourself 10 months with this. Give yourself 10 months to restrain, to focus on your stability, to focus on security. Give yourself a 10-month hibernation. Not that you're not dealing with people. You're still dealing with people. You're still engaging. You're still caring for yourself. But give yourself 10 months to focus completely on you and your stability. We can do it together. I'm going to work on it. All right? So 10 months to save. 10 months, if it's not financially, 10 months to care for your emotional body. All right? So that you can come out of it stronger, ready to reap the rewards with the abundance here. Security here, we have the Unikite. So grounding ourselves with Mother Earth, going outside for walks when we feel tempted to do things. For some of us, if it's emotional with this reading, we want to make sure that we're connecting with Earth, that we're connecting with the outside, that we're not just cooped in, that we're going out, all right? We're getting some of that new energy. I think this is important here with the blue calcite because the idea of peace, being at peace with what you have at this moment, what you have right now is enough. But you realize that you want to move towards something more powerful. You realize that you want to have more security. And so how do we get there from this moment right now? Because right now we're talking about the spring, planting those seeds for renewal. So that by the time we're in next spring, we'll be in a whole different place. And I know some of you all are thinking, why are we thinking so far ahead? When you look at readings, you want to get that information right here. But this is it. It requires work. Will beautiful things be happening throughout the month, next month? Yes, beautiful things can still happen. But we want to still work towards planting that firm foundation here. We need to give time. It takes time. It takes time. Spirit team, I'm working towards building a firm foundation. I would like to start a business. I would like to be able to move into my own home. I would like to be able to go on a beautiful vacation. I would like to be able to buy a new car, whatever it might be for you, right? Please help me be at peace with this moment right here and right now with what I have. And allow me to take whatever I'm not using, all right, and to save it, to put it away for future me. Help me honor myself in that way. All right, let's see where we are. And this is the earth sign energy. Earth sign is always all about finances, all about being practical. All right. Honoring every penny that comes into the house. All right, let's see. Fertility. So for some, wanting to start a family, but fertility for me with the fairy stone, this card talks about starting new, birthing something into existence, planting that seed now, that idea that you have for whatever that endeavor might be. It could just be like we're saying, a better having that security where you feel safe, where you know if something happens, you're taken care of because you've put your future self, you know, at the top. You're honoring that person, you're honoring that vision. And so fertility is here for you. All right? Fertility is here for us every day. Every day is always a day for planting new seeds, for starting new things. Starting new things doesn't have to come with money, right? It could be anything. Starting journaling, that's starting something new. Drawing, starting something new. Laying out a game plan, that's starting something new. So Spirit is saying that's where we are right now. We want to work on this new vision that we have with fertility. We're planting those seeds. Clarity, knowing what we want for ourselves, knowing and envisioning the type of life that we want. We know we want to be abundant spiritually, but we want to be abundant financially as well. What do we have out here? We have Malachite, which deals with transformation, but this is spiritual transformation with this energy. But it's also a transformation of the heart, making sure that you're loving yourself first and foremost, putting yourself first. Pre-night, connecting with your ancestors, looking at the lessons from your ancestors. Sometimes you don't have to look far. For me, I don't have to look that far when it comes to lessons on how I should be moving forward when it comes to my stability. All right. So looking at those lessons and seeing how can I learn from the person before me that did this, and that. And then, of course, for us, looking at those ancestors who didn't have the chance to have any type of way to save, or the money wasn't theirs. They didn't make money at all. All these things put us in a space to honor what we do have coming into our homes when it comes to our finances. Every penny matters. Pyrite deals with money. It deals with abundance. Fool's gold. All right. Don't be a fool about your money. Don't be a fool about your abundance. Don't be a fool about your emotional abundance. All of that. Whatever it means for you. In this reading, like I said, if it's not about money, it's about something. And so you place it. I'm going to pull one of these. This is the Sacred Medicine Oracle by Asha Frost, artwork by Steph Littlebird. And I'm just going to read what it says. Give us a message, Spirit, as we're working towards, self-sufficiency, security, stability, all these beautiful words. We have tobacco, offering. So let's see what it says. Planting those seeds, right? Honoring our ancestors. That's what I see with this. All right, so we have tobacco, offering. Tobacco is a sacred plant. It is said to be the first gift we receive from the Creator. We make an offering of tobacco to a medicine person, elder, or healer when we go to them for guidance or to the earth in gratitude. Tobacco medicine is asking you to open your generous heart and give. Giving doesn't always have to be monetary, but you are asked to share what resources you have with those who are in need. When we hoard our riches or live in constant fear of not having enough, we restrict the flow of abundance that is meant to come our way. Indigenous people, unheraldly a sharing people. And today, tobacco comes to you to encourage you to give in greater ways. Maybe it's your time, your skill, or even your wisdom that is being called forward. A sacred dance of giving and receiving is the message for you here. And as you pour your resources into the circle of life, all will be returned in more beautiful ways than you could have imagined. The sacred ceremony. Envision yourself standing on the earth, feet planted in the soil. Around you is a vast and brilliant landscape, and you have tobacco in your hand. You place it down upon the earth, And from above, a bright channel of light moves into the top of your head and flows down your body through the soles of your feet. The channel forms an infinite loop or infinity loop, traveling into the earth and then back up into the cosmos. A continuous flow of love, abundance, and blessings move through you effortlessly. This energy flows in and out, balancing, giving, and receiving, and inspiring you to give abundantly without expectation. Healing affirmation: I have more than enough to give. I share my resources with all of creation. And this is a beautiful energy, right? And this is where we all want to be, where we're able to give those resources. Spirit just told us it's not just with money, it's with time and how we treat others. It's being at peace with what we do have right now. But before we give abundantly to others, we have to give abundantly to the self. How do we give to the self? We honor the self by knowing what it needs to be self sufficient and to be secure and to be stable. Once we feel stable and strong in our own 2 feet, right? Stability comes in 2 ways, many different, not 2 ways, but many different ways. Spiritual stability, because we're already working on that plane, so we give thanks for that. But financial stability, Spirit is saying we need to share it, right? But first, let's share it with the self, which means that we hold on to it, not hoarding in that way. We're never hoarding. That's not what this energy is about. But it's about protecting the future self by not letting it fly out of your hands, right? So give love to yourself first in all ways, first and foremost, and then share it with others. But any situation should always be reciprocal because that leads to financial and emotional depletion. So making sure that you're honoring yourself in all things, opening yourself up to fertility, where you're able to birth new things into being. You're able to be a creator. Does it require finances? Not all the time. But this is a financial reading, right? Spirit is saying you need to work towards self-sufficiency so that you can be a giver in every way. But being a giver starts now, starts tomorrow, all right? Anytime, anytime you can give of yourself when you're at peace, right? All right, what a beautiful reading. What a beautiful reading. And until next time, peace.